I think you may have been following discussions about the commission, and by now you would have known that it's a commission that was established to find out the truth regarding what happened at Montagne Posée prison on 5 and 6 December 2024. My name is Justice Mavedzenge. I'm the chairperson of the commission, and let me allow fellow commissioners to introduce themselves.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, I'm Victor.
Thank you, commissioners. On our left is our secretary for the commission, Ms. Chelsea Albest. Ms. Chelsea Albest, may you administer the oath so that we can take the evidence of the witness.
Christian. I swear by the Almighty God that the evidence I shall give before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Okay, sorry. I swear by Almighty God that the evidence I shall give to this commission shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. Thank you, madam.
Thank you very much, Inspector. And thank you, Secretary. So I just have to remind you of a few rules that we would like you to observe during your testimony. The first one is to tell the truth all the time during your testimony. Tell nothing but the truth because we are searching for the truth, and also you have taken the oath to do so. It is a criminal offense for anyone to give the commission false information, or for anyone to withhold information from the commission. Secondly, we would like you to answer all the questions that are asked, sharing with us what you know, and what you don't know, you can tell us you don't know. But also, please just answer the question as it has been asked. We would like you to conduct yourself with dignity and respect, including when you are referring to other people in your testimony. We also owe you a duty of respect and dignity. And if you feel at any time that we are not respecting you, you should let us know so that we can take steps to correct that. If you are going to answer questions in Creole at any time, there is an interpreter who will interpret, but just make sure that you allow space for the interpretation before you move to the next statement. Then to the colleagues that are in the room, we also are grateful and acknowledge those that come to observe the hearing. You are welcome, and please feel comfortable. I just remind everyone, including the media people, that let us refrain from anything that could distract or that could make it difficult for us to hear the testimony of the witness, or that could interrupt the witness from giving their evidence. That includes switching off your mobile phones or put them on complete silence. Remember to remove them from vibration and put them on complete silence. Please refrain movements in and outside of the room, and when you do so, please close the door in such a way that you don't make noise. So Inspector Davis Simeon, what we are going to do is we're going to take turns to ask you questions and get your evidence. I am going to hand you over to Commissioner Dividot, who will take the lead, and then the other commissioners will come in from time to time. Commissioner Vidot.
Good morning, Inspector Simeo.
Good morning, sir.
Okay. Am I right to say that you are a member of the police force?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you work in the CID division, CID unit, whatever you call.
Avant, je travaille CID. La commune là, je travaille section general duties.
I worked with the CID, but now I am responsible for general duties.
Okay. And for how long were you in the CID unit?
À peu près 8 ans, sir.
About 8 years.
Les gens rejoignent la police 8 ans.
When I rejoined the police 8 years.
Okay. So that means at a certain point in time you left the police?
Oui.
Yeah.
Yes.
In which year was that?
Pas même imaginer, c'est le moment où je quitte la police pour à peu près 8 ans.
I cannot recall, but I had left the police for about 8 years.
With at the time that, let's say, were you in the police force in 2021?
Yes.
Okay, you had returned by then?
Yes.
Okay. And by then you were in the CID section?
CID, yes.
Okay. And you were based at Bordeaux?
Bordeaux.
Okay. And who was your immediate superior?
Quelle année, sir?
Which year?
We're talking about the years 2021 upwards.
CID, si permets-moi, une séance d'étoile. Tout le monde qui a ça, premier tiers SP Doglé, après il vient SP Antoine, après il vient SP Marquez, après il vient SP Julien.
So if you would allow me, the CID has changed their heads a couple of times. Before that it was SP Doglé, and then after him SP Antoine, and then after SP Antoine came SP Marcos Jean, and after Marcos Jean came SP Julien.
Okay. Can you give us around which date did Mr. Julien become the head of the CID?
Mon papa imagine exactement, mais seulement dans l'année 2023, si on va tomber. Imagine ça.
I do not recall exactly when, probably during the year 2023, but I am not sure.
Okay, but by that time you had returned to the CID?
Yes,
to the police. Okay. And the CID was just one unit on its own of the police department?
So permettez-moi pour expliquer. CID, il y en a différents départements.
If you allow me to explain, CID has different departments.
I do understand that, but CID, the whole department of the CID would be a department of the police force.
So because coûte moi de travail, il s'appelle CID priority.
If you
C'est un petit groupe officiel.
Referring to where I used to work, it was called CID priority, whereby it contained just a small group of officers.
So when were you asked to work within the CID priority?
Pareil, moi dit, moi j'ai quitté la police, moi j'ai gagné un Posée, ça l'était commissionnaire la bonté qui là.
Like I stated, I had left the police force, and then I was approached by, at that time it was Commissioner Labonte, who asked me to return to the police, to CID.
And the reason why you left the police force?
Resigned.
I had resigned.
15 ans, resigned.
I was 15 years in the police force and was not going anywhere, so I had resigned.
Okay. And would I be right in saying, because at a certain point in time there were complaints against you, and there was a feeling that you were conflicted in certain areas, and that's why you decided to resign?
No.
No.
So the sole reason was because you were not progressing?
Yes.
Okay. So you said that priority unit, okay? That unit, who led that unit?
Like I said, there were these people that I had just mentioned.
They led that unit, the priority unit?
Yes.
Okay. So when was that unit established again?
Sorry?
When was it established again?
CID?
No, that unit, the priority unit.
In totality.
It had always existed.
We have evidence that at a certain point in time, a component of the CID, some officers, were removed and placed at a different location than what it was.
Voulez-moi expliquer ça?
Yes?
Yes,
Okay.
Can I explain that?
CID priority.
Like I said, when I returned 8 years ago, I fell under the CID priority.
Et pas de ça temps, à plusieurs reprises, il y en a certains nous, qui sont sortis. Côté CID priority, il y en a un travail qui nous fait.
And during that time, at several instances, there were several of us that would move from CID to do certain jobs.
Et après, nous retournons côté CID.
And then we returned back to CID.
Et si vous pouvez sa groupe qui nous tire là tout derrière.
And if you are referring to the group that I was in during the last moments,
nous pouvons faire l'enquête qu'on a pour faire avec missing person et trafic humain.
we were conducting investigations that had to do with missing person and human trafficking.
Et sa groupe qui tombe par écoute CID priority, ça c'est un groupe qui tombe en bas que nous pouvons faire l'enquête pour trafficking person, missing person. Après ben case high profile qui c'est là.
At the CID priority, there was a group that I was responsible for, whereby we handled the cases of human trafficking and high profile cases.
And that group, who did they report it to?
Nous, sa commander qui est là, qui est CID.
The commander who was in charge of CID, who was there present at that time.
Après ça, couper des manuels, à un moment, tu fais une enquête.
And then what you are asking me at a certain moment while we were conducting these investigations.
Nous avons gagné l'information qui nous tient à CCLOA qui tire missing person.
And we got information that we had Seychellois people who was listed under the missing persons.
Et nous avons gagné l'information qui dit là-dedans, qui Iran.
And we got information that two amongst those Seychellois was in Iran seeking help.
Et nous avons commencé à faire l'enquête et à un moment, ça caisse, c'est quand il discutait avec les discussions avec SPZN.
And we started the investigation, and at that time, what was discussed between DCP Sangwa and SP Julien.
Et ils ont commencé à nous donner la caisse pour les opérations, mais il y a quelque chose pour masser.
They started helping us in that case and started to work out the operation, how things were supposed to go.
Nous avons bois de rose à l'état.
We were still at Bordeaux at that time.
Mais à un moment,
but at a moment in time,
il y a quelque chose qui peut aller dans la caisse.
Things were going in that case.
Commissioner dit nous qui nous avons besoin sortir Bordeaux.
Commissioner informed us that we had to move out from Bordeaux.
Et nous sommes basés dans la conférence la police centrale.
And we were based in the conference of the police at the Central Police Station.
Et pour aider nous dans l'enquête, à cause l'information qui déjà commencé à leak.
And to help us in this investigation because the information were already started to leak. He asked us to seek out certain officers that could help us.
So that was what Mr. Barbie, as Commissioner of Police, told you to go out and look for some officers who could help you.
Already had 5 people at the CID Bordeaux. We took 2 officers from the OCU because there were a drug element in that case.
Et nous pas trop expérience un peu. Nous avons un peu d'expérience là, mais tu as un peu d'expérience que nous.
And since we did not have that much experience on drugs, we had experience, but these officers had more experience than us.
Nous avons digital extraction.
We took someone from the digital extraction.
Après, il y a 4 membres d'arrestation.
And then there were 4 officers from the arrestation unit.
Et nous avons formé sa unit pour la conférence, pour commencer à travailler dans la case.
And we formed that unit for us to go to the conference at the police station to start working on those cases.
And those cases, were they allocated to you by an officer?
Saban question is allocated. Par exemple, nos unit Wados pour autres quoi comprendre.
These cases had already been allocated, like I stated, our unit at Boados for you to be able to understand things.
Il y a un missing person qui peut lead by un officier.
There was the missing person who was being led by an officer.
Et il y a un 32 missing person qui peut faire l'enquête là-dedans.
And he had 32 missing persons whereby he was conducting investigations.
So tout son bon question allocaté que lui.
And all of his cases were allocated to him.
Et nous pouvons faire trafic humain.
And
Après les autres qui sont high profile et tout ça là. Tu gagnes des données et que nous.
And
si pas expédient, l'inspecteur en vol.
We were doing high profile cases, investigations in human trafficking as well, and all of these were given to us, if not by SP Jean Vol. No, Inspector Jean Vol. Salut, lequel?
SP Julien.
SP Julien.
Et juste pour faire sortir les SP Julien qui viennent, qui déjà en ban qu'est-ce qui est alloqué que nous.
Just to put it out there that when SP Julien came, there had already been cases that had been allocated to us.
When you talk about high-profile cases, are you referring to drugs cases? Drugs cases?
Non, ça l'était non ça.
That
petit
time,
high profile, nous avons un case qui en a pour faire par exemple trafficking in person.
when I say high-profile cases, we had cases like I stated, trafficking in person,
child trafficking. Qui peut arriver c'est nous avons un case qui gagne alloqué par murder.
Which was happening in Seychelles, and we had cases which were allocated to us like murder cases,
Case terrorism.
terrorism cases,
Et par exemple, il y a une grosse offense.
and
Si ton plus que nous unit.
the major big offenses, it was our responsibility.
Et par exemple, case syndicate aussi qui nous termes syndicate qui alloqué comme.
And
So it's one case qui pending pour appeler mais c'est man choc travail là.
the syndicate case also was allocated to us, and any pending cases we were still working on.
So you never worked on any drugs cases?
Il y en a nous travail là ça.
There were that we worked on.
At what point in time were you allocated these drugs cases?
Là, on nous parti gagner alloqué, mais c'est man tiens un case qui est sorti au CU et qui vient avec son investigating officer côté nous.
When you look at it, we were not allocated, but there were cases that came from OCU, and they came with the investigating officer,
Et nous assisté là.
and we assisted in those cases.
And for those drugs cases, where were you getting instructions, and who did you report to?
Ça moi les gars bien comprend si on peut causer l'état nous une bonne conférence ou bien l'état chaque coup de CID à cause idée que
I'm talking about when you moved.
les nous move. OK, c'est bonne question là nous ti move. Par exemple nous tiens des officiers sortis ça des victimes sortis hein.
The drug cases, when we moved, for like I stated, we had the 2 victims that came from Iran.
Et là nous peux faire l'enquête. Tiens une bonne case qui pending qui nous peut découvrir so nous te demande ça bonne case ça demande mai aussi you tiens ça bonne case code nous.
And when we were
Et nous tu peux
doing
faire
the
l'enquête là.
investigation, there were cases. S'il vous plaît, là, tu peux faire l'enquête.
Là nous tu peux faire l'enquête.
Oui.
Tiens une bonne élément qui nous tu vois qui en a pour faire drogue. Tiens une bonne case pending.
When we were doing the investigations, there were elements that we saw had to do with drugs, and there were pending cases as well.
Et il y a aussi une case qui les autres départements tu peux faire commissionnaire tu amènes code nous pour nous investigate.
And there were also cases that were being conducted by other departments, and the commissioner sent those cases to us.
Et il y a l'opération qui est faite par les autres départements, il y a une caisse d'eau qui vient de nous.
And there were operations being conducted by other departments, and the drug cases were sent to us.
But who did you report to?
Commissioner de la police.
The police commissioner.
The impression that the police commissioner gave us and other officers is that you had this unit of the CID. Okay, I believe that's when you moved to move officer away from CID to the police conference room. That instructions and reporting, sometimes he didn't know what you were, that CID unit was doing, and that sometimes there was no reporting as to what your unit was doing. It was all something secretive that he had no knowledge.
Who had no knowledge?
We have that from the impression we have from the commissioner, is that he had
Ce commissionnaire est au courant et les autres membres de la police est bon passif, mais mal qui chance à CID pas au courant.
Commissioner was aware, and the other high officers, ranking officers in the police, they were not aware.
Like Mr. If I could be wrong, but I think Mr. Julien says that sometimes he was not aware of what that section, that other CID component.
He did not know at all.
No, sir.
But as a superior, don't you think there was a necessity for him to be kept in the loop as to what you were doing?
This is not the first time this happened.
The fact that it's not the first time it happens, okay, doesn't make it right. So the same question I will ask again, don't you feel that he's the head of the CID, okay? He has to know what is happening.
So, nous suivons commande, c'est simple. Nous pouvons sortir côté CID, nous pouvons répondre direct au commissionnaire, les autres gens nous pas pour répondre avec. Et ça tient à son raison à cause, si mon cas expliqué.
Follow command, and the command was for us to move out from CID and for us to do the job that we were assigned to do and not to answer to anyone else. And there was a reason for that, which I can explain if you allow me.
That command was given to you by Mr. Barbie?
Yes, sir. Commissioner of Police, Mr. Ted Barbie.
Okay. And we also, anyway, it was said before this commission that there was even reporting, or you got instructions directly from State House.
That never happened.
Toute directive nous avons gagné, commissionnaire de la police.
Every directive we received came from the Commissioner of Police.
Okay. So those who have said that instructions were sometimes being given from State House would not be telling the truth.
No, sir.
Okay.
And like I said, I can explain these things.
Go ahead.
Okay. Paris, ça un case qui nous tu faire, un high profile case.
Like for example, the high profile cases that we were conducting, especially with regards to Iran.
It assez sensible.
It was quite sensitive. It had to do with people's lives that were in Iran. There were certain prisoners who were assisting us at a certain moment with the investigation. And there were certain movements that we were doing on our part for us to be able to extract our people from Iran who were being mistreated over there and abused, for us to be able to get them back safe into Seychelles.
Le problème, il y a une information que je peux travailler avec. Par exemple, l'enquête a commencé, l'enquête a évolué.
The issue was with the information that we were working with. For example, like I stated, when the investigation started, investigation evolved.
We
thought it was only human trafficking. Investigation led us to drugs.
Money laundering.
It led us to money laundering.
Business,
and we identified several businesses, several people who were involved in drug. And to clarify things, these incidents started happening from 2018 onwards.
Well established as a business,
and we had to start investigating, and there were people who was involved in drug businesses who had well-established businesses.
Et là, nous pouvons faire une enquête aussi. Nous pouvons voir si toi l'aspect d'orgue.
Conducting these investigations, we found out that there were informants in several departments of the government.
Et en plus que ça, dernière nous pouvons gagner l'assistance. Pour certains du monde Dubaï et Iran.
Towards the last moment, we received assistance from people in Dubai
and
Iran.
Il est donc tu peux quitter Iran, nous sommes au courant.
And the drugs were leaving Iran, we were made aware.
Et nous te donnons l'information, l'intelligence pour intercepter.
And we gave the information.
Ça y est un peu à cause nous senti que nous pas qu'à donner toute l'information à cause avant.
We gave the information for the intelligence section or department for them to do the interception, and this is part of the reason why we could not really divulge all the information, because before that
the
way we were working, it would have been difficult for us to be able to conduct these investigations.
Okay. Inspector, no?
Yes, sir.
Inspector Simeon.
Yes, sir.
Good morning. Right, Inspector Simeon, I would like to firstly ask you, could you give us the names of those people that were working with you in this group that moved over to Central Police Station?
China missing person unit passage par César Tania Soule.
Tania Soule?
Yes.
The missing person unit was being in charge by Sergeant Tania Soule.
Okay.
Child trafficking.
Yeah.
César L'Espérance.
Sergeant L'Espérance was in charge of child trafficking.
Dans nos main unit qui peut dire que high profile question à moi.
In our main unit that we were dealing with high profile cases, there was myself,
Inspector Ilantin,
okay.
SI Freud, Neddy Freud,
Fred,
yes.
Okay.
Et Caporal Rudy Pile.
And Corporal Rudy
Pile. Rudy Pile. R. Pile.
Pile, yeah, okay.
Ça qui sorti côté OCU.
What came from OCU?
What is OCU? Can you tell us what is OCU?
Organized Crime Unit.
Okay. Yeah.
Channel says Stenio Cado.
There was Sergeant Stenio Cado.
Stenio. Okay.
Channel la ISI. Sorry, Madam seulement.
There's a lady officer who is now an SI. I forgot her name, but I can give it to you afterwards.
Après, digital extraction.
And then from the digital extraction,
16 ans, Dedetuji.
Sergeant Dedetuji.
Arrestation, nous avons Dina, Constable Dina.
From the
Civil Dina.
Arrest station, we had Constable Dina.
Nous avons Corporal Stephen Joseph.
Corporal Stephen Joseph.
16 ans, Mario Brizilia.
Sergeant Mario Brizilia.
Constable Morel.
Constable Morel.
Okay. Thank you for this. Now, I just wanted to clarify. You said that you had left the forces before.
Yes.
And you came back and rejoined the police force.
Yes.
In which year?
I returned past him when I was in
8 years ago, I can't recall exactly.
The days I'm going to return.
To the 2nd of June was 8 years.
8 years was from now. Was it 2017?
Si je ne me trompe pas, oui.
If I am not mistaken, yes.
Okay. So you came back, yeah? Now, you said that when you were working at the body wars unit where you were based, yeah?
Yes.
It was found necessary by the authorities to move you to the central police station. Reason being that the cases that you were dealing with had to be treated with secrecy and they were sensible cases. And you could not stay where you were to work because it was this case, yeah? Is that right? That's what you said?
Oui.
Yes.
But then you said that in your line of investigation, when you were working, you were dealing with prisoners as well to help you in trying to get information.
Yes.
How do you consider the secrecy of prisoners? Where do you rate them in terms of secrecy compared to your ASP Zillion, that was your boss? How do you differentiate the secrecy between ASP Zillion and prisoners? Do you think, which one is...
Non, il sait ça.
Yes.
Et que prisonnier, tu n'as l'intelligence, nous tu vas masser. Tu n'as pas rien pour faire l'enquête.
It is simple.
Et mon collègue, on a un informant, il y a différent. Il y a un drug dealer, il y a un élève qui filme la poudre. Ok, il information que tu peux gagner. Il peut pas dire prisonnier, tu peux faire l'enquête.
Non, non.
Il l'information qu'on amasse et ça l'information qu'on amasse ou analyser et au servir. Ça qu'il faut le comprendre. Il dit quelque chose ça.
The prisoners, we were only gathering intelligence. This can be gathered from several individuals when you are doing these things. For example, you can gather information from drug dealers, drug addicts, and with the prisoners, it was only the gathering of information. They were not conducting investigation.
This is very clear. They were not conducting investigations.
No.
But the minute that you were interrogating them with relevance to high-profile cases, don't you think they were more prone to release this information that you were looking for, whatever you were looking?
Il peut jamais arriver. De façon, il gagne fait, il pas jamais. On a pour faire, pour interférer l'enquête.
It never happened.
Pour on a l'information sur l'enquête.
It was done. It never interfered with the investigation. We just take information for the investigation.
Okay. Now you did mention that high-profile cases and your work, and you said that drugs there was not too much, is it?
Donc c'est un problème, c'est
so you were dealing with drugs.
Drug was a problem in Seychelles.
Now, at any time during your service, were you given instructions to target certain people? Specifically give you names to target those people?
Non, tout le monde qui nous travaille suspect, ben suspect. Il y a résultat l'enquête que nous fait.
No, everyone that we worked, the suspects that we gathered is as a result of the investigation conducted.
Okay, because if I understand well, have you ever arrested or prevented 2 people from the airport to travel, whereby you were confiscating their phones at the Seychelles airport?
Monoco, ça, mais c'est ma salita. Nous pas encore beaucoup conférence. Ça arrive côté CID.
I am aware of that, but during that time we had not yet moved to the conference. That incident happened at CID.
But where did you get this order to?
Il parti tomber comment ça qu'est-ce qu'on peut cause là.
The case was not under my responsibility.
Il y a un incident et ça l'incident tiens maman qui a pris une arrestation qui peut dire avec.
There was an incident, and afterwards the officers that was dealing with that moved to arrestation.
Okay, I would like to probably ask you. There was a case at Grand Asmaï whereby I think it was put under the terrorism purview, which happened, and there were 3 people involved in this case.
Yes.
Okay. Now, those 3 people involved in the case, you were given specific instructions not to charge 1 person in there and to deal with 2 others.
I am aware of that case, yes.
Did you carry out this instruction that I'm talking about?
Nous pas gagné l'instruction, nous gagnons alloqué quelques files, nous gagnons dit faire l'enquête.
We do not receive instruction. We are allocated with a case file and asked to do investigation, and the investigation is conducted.
Ça tient l'opération qui se gagne leader. Mon quoi, les officiers la police réclamé, nous faisons l'enquête, nous donnons l'attorney général, les autres qui prennent une décision.
That case was an operation being done by the police and the army, and after completing the investigations, the file is sent to the Attorney General's office and they decide who to bring the case against.
Okay, so you yourself did not talk to anybody to spare 1 person and deal with 2 others. You yourself, you did not say this?
No.
No.
You did not? Okay. Was there a time that there was a drug case? There was a drug case, and people were arrested, and you yourself, you were leading the investigation. And in the investigation, you found out that there was a certain Mr. Anil Bustol, that was, his name came up in this case that you were investigating. Yeah? And you
Oui, là, on peut causer comment le case log.
Yes.
Si on a pour faire case log, il y a des topics le côté commission prison. Il y en a une case qui m'ont pas pour répondre. Sorry. Si il y a no, can I finish? Si il y a no, les m'ont répondre après.
Can I choose because if he asks you a question, maybe he knows where the necessity of asking that question. 1 minute. You need to answer all questions that are put to you. You cannot choose to say, this doesn't concern the prison investigation. You cannot choose. We decide whether it concerns the prison investigation or not.
Si on a quelque chose pour répondre, pas pour répondre.
The translation had not reached me.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but if what Commissioner Vidot said is what you actually said, just refrain from that throughout your testimony.
I will, sir.
Yes, just answer the question as it has been asked. So let's do this. He will ask the question again, and then you will answer. So you start from the beginning.
The question is that you were investigating a drug case, and in your investigations you found the name of a person by the name of Mr. Anil Bustol that appeared in this investigation, and obviously you went to the Commander-in-Chief and told him that Mr. Anil Bristol's name was found in this investigation, and you were said to relax. Yeah, and that when you left, Mr. Anil Bristol was made aware that you had mentioned his name in this investigation, and Mr. Bristol later went to the other persons that were involved in this, that you were investigating, and told them that you had mentioned his name to his boss.
Si permette-moi, audio camera, m'a pas répondre à la question.
If I am permitted off camera, I can answer that question.
I think, yeah, but before, why do you want to say it, to answer the question off camera?
Il y en a plusieurs aspects qui en résultent à ça.
There is several aspects that
normal pour répondre.
As a result of that, there's nothing of the sort of me being scared or anything, but it's just better that I reply off camera.
Yeah, sorry, because what we do here is, have you seen the other witnesses who come before us?
I did not watch every time.
Okay, so I just asked that question so that I know how much detail I should explain the rules. So the witness is not the one that decides whether they want to give information off camera or not. They have to request, and in some cases, and we need to know why you are requesting. So are we hearing you correctly that you are saying the reason why you would like to answer that question is because you think it's better?
Oui.
What do you mean it's better?
Il y en a certaines choses qui viennent avec certaines sécurité que les autres choses.
There are things that comes along with it, things to do with security and other things.
Whose security? Whose security?
Sécurité la vie certain du monde.
The life of a certain individual.
Okay. It is possible. I think this question has many questions in it. So I think maybe let's also unpack the question. If I understood well, the first question was there ever a case that involved, you said the name is who?
Mr. Bristol?
Mr. Bristol.
Yes.
Was there ever a case where Mr. Bristol was identified as a suspect? I think that's one question in all this, right? Then I think the other question is, did the other steps that you are alleged to have taken, did you take them? Let's pack that. But the first question is, was there ever a case that you handled that where this person, Mr. Bristol, was named as a suspect? Surely that is not.
I will not comment on that if I do not get the chance to explain.
No, you will get a chance to explain, but don't take a decision. Don't take
I
do not play with people's life. I will not comment on that.
Do you think we play with people's lives?
If
you are asking me to say it,
Mon a informé, mon a l'enquête qui ongoing, ou les mon dévoile tout. Là, il va commissionner pour tout le monde connaît.
If you want
Ils sont pas exécution, les autres gens gagnent attaquer ou bien gagnent tout.
If you want me to say it here on camera, then yes, because I have informant, I have people that can get repercussions for me diverging information on camera like that, and bad things can happen to them.
So so I want to understand properly. So just by answering whether this Mr. who? Mr. Bristow was ever named as a suspect in a case that you handled. Just by, wait, can you hold? Because I was listening to you when you were talking, so I don't want you to respond when I have not finished talking. So just by saying yes or no to the question whether a Mr. Bristow was once named as a suspect in a case, just that answer or responding to that question could jeopardize the security of many people. Is that what you are saying?
Oui, il peut être suspect. C'est le moment où mon cas donne l'explication.
Oui, il peut être suspect. Yes, he was not a suspect, but I can say that I can provide more information.
Okay, so we are now answering the question. Is that what you are saying?
So I answered yes.
Your answer is, was a Mr. Bristow ever named as a suspect in a case you were investigating or not?
No.
I said no.
No. Okay. Then you said you would like to provide more detail off camera.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. But the answer is no.
No.
So what do you want? What would be? I'm not saying answer the question. I'm still trying to get the rationale of what would be the other stuff that you want to say when Mr. Bristol was never charged. Well, I mean, was never named as a suspect.
I will not make any other comments.
Okay, that is fine. So I think it means that there is. So would we be correct to say there is a lot of sensitivity around this particular case that he's talking about?
Not just what you are referring to, but all of the cases that I am conducting investigations in.
Okay. Okay. And talking about some of these things in public could get people killed.
Oui.
Yes.
Okay. You see, we are together. We are not fighting. I just want to understand what the nature of what we are dealing with. So now I understand that this particular case and others that you were dealing with.
Yes.
Are cases that just discussing whether an individual was named as a suspect or not, it could get people killed. Okay, back to you.
Yeah, but I want to probably add a little bit to this. Mrs. Simeon, you said there are various cases that you are working on. We, as secretive as you are, we know of a lot of those cases. But why don't we mention the other cases is because there's no relevance to what I'm trying to ask you. What I'm trying to ask you is, did you go to the boss of this gentleman to tell him that, look, this gentleman has been named in this case, and he said to you to keep quiet, and you had nothing to say, you left, but this gentleman then went to the others that you were investigating and told them that you went to his boss to tell his boss that you had mentioned his name there. This is why I'm saying, because the rest of the cases you are doing, I don't know. Or I know, but that's got nothing to do with what I'm trying to do.
La police.
The only person I answered to was the police commissioner, and I did not report to anyone else. My cases, everything I reported to him. I do not answer to any boss or whomever, but to the Commissioner of Police.
So are you now telling me that Mr. Bristol was lying to these other people that you were investigating?
I do not know.
Mr. Simeo. Okay. Right, now when you were based at the Central Police Station, at any point were you moved from the Central Police Station to other locations?
No.
No.
You never had an office at the State House?
No.
No.
Never?
No more examine this an office. Me say much a name more much put CID body goes. Much I'll assist the inspector KFCIU State House. Ki li channel and office this at task State House.
No.
So that means you were at State House in an office?
Pai manji we no pay the locket no Charlie State House. No station ko office am she no pay the locket we.
No, okay. But at one point there was an inspector that worked for the FCIU that was based at State House, and I went over there to assist him in an investigation.
Okay, before I come to another question, I would like to ask you, Mr. Simeon, you were one of the CIDs dealing with high-profile cases, yeah?
Oui.
If
Yes.
I name 3 cases, can you identify if they are high-profile or not? And then I would ask you my question. Terrorism,
Oui.
Yes.
high-profile, yeah? Syndicate,
Oui.
Yes.
high-profile. Arson,
Il dépend.
It depends.
yes or no?
Il dépend moi je.
It depends.
Moi problème il dépend, il dépend.
When I say it
Okay,
depends,
would you
it
be
depends.
able to explain when you say it depends? Can you just explain which one is high profile and which one is not?
Il y en a qui station level, CID station level qui take up, il y en a CID qui take up.
There are
So it
that
depends.
on the station level,
Gravité.
they take it up, but there are cases that it's taken up on the CID level.
Okay. Can I just ask you the fire that took place at Sanssouci? What was the name of this fire?
Mission.
At Mission. Was it high profile?
Oui, si font pas de bonne enquête syndicate.
Yes, it was a part
The
of
syndicate.
the investigation of syndicate.
Awesome. The problem that was happening with gases in our schools and workplaces, was it high profile?
Ah oui. Priorité qui se fait laver.
High profile, yeah?
Yes.
Yes.
Priority or unit.
Priority was dealing with that.
Was that your unit?
Not my unit, but CID priority, yes.
Okay. So no, but you were dealing with high profile. That's what I was.
Yes.
Okay. Now, could you tell us?
But you work in the priority, that's what you said
Yes.
earlier on. But you said not priority just now.
I said priority.
Okay.
It's a priority case.
Okay. Now, could you tell us, Mr. Simeon, in the 4 listed high-profile types of cases that I mentioned to you, could you give us a brief account or explain to us what were the results? Because we as citizens, we've never heard of any results. I don't recall if I've heard of any results. I don't know if Commissioner have heard or any other Seychellois. Could you just talk to us a little bit and what were the findings? Who were arrested and who were...
Je ne peux pas faire commenter l'ongoing investigation, sorry.
I
Is
will
it
not
ongoing
make
still?
any comment
Yes.
on any ongoing investigation.
Goodness, but I mean, at times I try to question my police force. If cases, if you can help me, the syndicate problems, how long ago was it? Just to give me an idea.
Il y en a plus qui 7 ans.
It's more than 7 years,
Même avant tout.
even before that.
That's again where I come with my worries. It's worrying, Inspector Sino. If after 7 years You still tell me that it is ongoing. But what have you been doing?
For the demand commissioner la police.
No, I'm asking
You will have to ask the police commissioner.
Ongoing investigation.
I will not comment on any ongoing investigations.
The question was not about the ongoing investigation, and he only asked, "What are you doing?" He's directing that question to you.
Oui, l'enquête peut continuer à faire. Et nous besoin l'évidence. Vous mettez en question pour donner prosecution.
Are still
Il y en a qui plus que 10 ans, plus que 15 ans.
And we are still waiting for the investigation to be able to send the case to Attorney General. There are cases that has been ongoing for more than 10 years, 15 years.
So that is how you should answer the question.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Not like you did earlier on. Okay? He asked you a question, you a bit of antagonistic, I think, in the way in your answer. Pardon?
I will fix it.
Sir.
Yeah.
Mr. Simeon, I know, or I've listened to many different police forces around the world. Yeah, I've listened to them. I've even watched on national televisions where when there is a high-profile case, after a certain time, the police comes and give interviews to explain what is going on in order to put the minds of the people at rest, to know that the police is still dealing with cases. Why don't you, as our CID officer, high-profile CID officer, come to do this to us and explain to us what is going on? Because people are out there eager to know what has happened and what is happening.
Par exemple, il y a une ongoing investigation. Il y a un CID, il y a courant. Si y en a là, non, si police fait mon ali, qui devrait faire en consultation avec le commissionnaire.
Like I said,
nous, subordinate, nous fait, nous donne résultat. Pas nous pour mettre ban qu'est-ce qui pas mon dit, qui a profil, il y en a certaines choses là qui nous quasi ça les dit. L'enquête de façon que nous pouvons faire, ou bien qui résistance est arrivée. Ça il pour dépendre le commissionnaire la police pour voir la bonne information envers le public. Et mon collègue de passé, il y en a des interviews basées sur la bonne case.
Like I said, there's a investigation that is being carried out. This would depend on our superior after consultation with the Commissioner of Police, because he's aware of what is going on, and as subordinates we do our jobs and we get the results, and we cannot be diverging these informations and to the public. That would depend on the Commissioner of Police to choose whether or not he's going to diverge it with the media. And in the past, just to state that we had cases like that in the past, that it was certain information was diverged with the public.
Maybe let me help to clarify this question. My understanding of this question is not that he is asking you to share the minor details or the details about each case. I think he is saying, so he is saying, you classify certain offenses or crimes were classified as high profile. And if I recall well, Commissioner Vidot asked what that meant. You explained that high profile meant that, or high priority. I think sometimes high profile, sometimes you say high priority, but I think you mean priority crimes. Yes. So by saying priority crimes, it means that the policymakers have determined that these are crimes that we must prioritize dealing with.
Yes, sir.
And for many reasons. we can't speculate. It's their power as policymakers to decide. And usually it's because the crime is prevalent.
Yes, sir.
You know, it has become so common and it's such a threat to the well-being of the people inside the Republic and the safety and security of the Republic itself. So once you say it's a priority, the word priority there means it's a problem that you want to urgently deal with. So there's urgency. Do we agree?
Yes, sir.
Right. So if it's urgent, then you take more than 7 years to complete the investigation, then it's no longer urgent. So so what he is asking you for your opinion as an officer, right, is, do you think, I think in short he's saying, do you think if you take 7 years to complete an investigation of something you have classified as a priority, do you think that is appropriate, right? And yes, the police commissioner can also be asked the same question, but you also can be asked the same question because you are an officer who is working on those cases. And I do not think that you are prohibited by the law or the police commissioner to give an opinion on that. I've taken it that you have said you prefer to answer off-camera questions around. So why was A charged? Why was A named as a suspect? And why was he not charged? And that I understand you can discuss off-camera. But an opinion on whether you think taking 7 years to address something you classified as priority is appropriate or not, I think that you can answer, isn't it?
So you're more clearly now I can answer yes.
So can you give us your opinion on that?
Yes, so like I said, it depends. Okay, so it might be, we might have to understand some pattern crime. Nous avons un suspect là aujourd'hui, des mecs qui nous fait l'enquête là, suspect nous il passe à suspect.
Have to look at the pattern of crimes as well, because you can have a suspect today and tomorrow you can look at the evidence and see that you are no longer have that suspect as a suspect.
Et aussi CID, il pas une unit qui s'est avancé, par exemple petit dehors.
And CID, it's not a unit that is advanced like the ones we have abroad in other countries.
Okay, so now it looks like we are now talking about possible reasons why it could take 7 years. And trust me, we also, I think, are prepared to accept that, yes, something classified as a priority could take 10 years, right, to complete investigation. But there's got to be a reason. Right. So what we won't accept is that it's normal that an investigation can take more than 7 years, right? That we won't accept, because once you say it's a priority, there's an interest to address it urgently. But it doesn't mean you won't fail to address it urgently. But if you fail to address it urgently, you've got to account.
Yes.
Right. So now can you continue, because I think you had started to give reasons why it has taken that long. You said one of them is that the CID is not properly adequately resourced. You can continue.
Nous avons participé aussi. Et par exemple, j'ai priorité, il pas interdit mon. Ou quand on peut travailler contre priorité, on peut travailler 4-5 files ensemble.
We can have no suspects.
Power.
And like I said, priority, there's not a lot of officers, and the little amount of officers that we have, we can be working on 4 or 5 case files.
Vraiment. Et il manquait peu de ressources, il manquait peu de training à cause, par exemple, du crime évolué.
There's lack of resources, lack of training, and like I stated, crimes evolve.
Et il y en a qu'est-ce qui mettait nous dans en cours. L'exemple, nous perdons, nous besoin saisir nouveau façon faire.
And there are cases that we brought before the court as example that we lose, and then we have to go and sit down and see what went wrong for us to be able to
non
figure.
Beaucoup de cases qui nous qui fait l'enquête. Nous dépend pelo SSNCRB.
There are many cases whereby we conduct investigation and depend a lot of SSNCRB.
Okay.
Depends what?
SSNCRB.
Okay.
Et par exemple, il y a une état de difficulté nous faire face avec. Pour ça petit groupe nous qui travaille.
There are many difficulties that we come across with the little amount of us that are working on these cases.
Et plus gros problème si je peux ajouter. Et nous avons un CID station level. Ça veut dire
biggest issue, if I am to add, there is the CID on the station level, like I explained.
Et nous ne pouvons pas enquêter ce qu'ils sont supposés faire. Nous pouvons faire l'enquête là. So, ça va qu'est-ce qu'il y a qui high profile, nous besoin mettre un côté.
And we find ourselves conducting their cases that is supposed to be allocated to them, and we have to put aside the high profile cases to be able to assist them with their cases.
So you are moved into priority to deal with priority cases. Then from time to time, you are allocated cases that are not priority.
Yes.
So that diverts your attention.
Yes.
Okay.
Because the same issue is on station level. Nowadays, no one wants to come and work in CID.
Okay.
We have lack of manpower also. On station level, we take up cases. That's I think I can explain.
You said that currently you're working in general duties?
Yes, sir.
So you're no longer with the CID?
No.
Okay. So, but at the point where you were working within the CID, anytime you had to work with the military, a group of special ops, it's called special ops, or commonly known as IBU?
L'NC conference?
Yeah.
While we were at the conference?
Yes. Même si l'NC CID.
Even when we were at CID.
And
they had their operations that they were conducting. Like I said earlier, their case file was brought to us to do the investigation.
So, because earlier you just said that you needed people with knowledge, like in the field,
yes,
of CID work. But these special ops or military personnel, were they educated in that field of work?
I
want to know whether they were educated in that field of work.
They lack a lot of experience, yes.
But did you ever express an opinion that they lack the knowledge to be able to undertake work of anti-narcotics?
Several times, yes.
Police.
With the Commissioner of Police.
And what was the response you got from the Commissioner of Police?
He said that he would discuss about it.
And you got something in reply?
No.
No.
So was there concern that you have people with limited or no knowledge in how to deal with drug issues or anti-narcotic issues being part of your operation?
Like I said, it was the operation that they brought to us.
Il y a une difficulté et parfois nous aussi demandons assistance. Et comme je suis nous avons un groupe de monde travailler avec. Il y a une difficulté.
We had difficulties, and sometimes when we asked the commissioner for help, he would send these people to work with us. There was difficulties.
And he said discord.
Discord, yeah.
First, and difficulties.
Discord and difficulties.
Yeah. Okay. So, were you at any point in time during your career as a police officer, were you ever suspended for any disciplinary offenses?
No, sir.
No.
Okay. Yeah, and sometimes with the military, the Ibu team, because of lack of knowledge in the field of work you were doing, and were there times where you would have suspects? They would identify suspects. Such suspects are taken to court, and at the end of the day, there would be nothing on those suspects. You won't have anything, no evidence, and the court would just allow them to go.
There were instances, yes. Like I said, the operations that they were doing, when they arrested someone, they would send them to us. And like you know, there were cases whereby we would bring on a 101 application for us to be able to conduct the investigation. Based on the information that they had given us. And after bringing the case and doing the investigation, these people are released. And even when they are charged, when they are in court, they are released afterwards. It's the way that these people have conducted their initial investigation on the scene.
And so that would mean that, or is it possible that some of the military would target certain individuals who not necessarily will be involved in drugs or drug trafficking or anything like that?
I would not know that.
Okay. You know of the Montagne Posée prison incident?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When did you ever make a request that one Stéphane Mordon was needed by your unit for questioning?
Yes, sir.
So when did you make that request?
Simon. L'en tu fais ça l'enquête là c'est l'ouati bien. Tiens ban qu'est-ce faire qui tient déjà nous peut faire l'enquête là.
Like I said, when we were conducting investigation with regards to the two Seychellois that were missing, there were other case files as well that we were doing investigations.
I want an approximate date as to when you made that request to the. You made that request for
c'est pas novembre, finish en décembre. Which are a meeting, my commissioner, no unit.
1 minute.
If not early November.
And you said something about the end of December?
Sorry?
Did you say early November, end of December?
No, early November, and if I'm not mistaken, the end of November, which are a meeting with CP George, commissioner, no unit.
We had a meeting with CP George, the commissioner in our unit.
And we told
them that there was an investigation that we were conducting that had to do with suspects that were in prison. And we were trying to figure out a way how to interview these people, how can we reach these people. Early December, beginning of December. Through the investigation that we were doing.
Stéphane Mordon, son ex.
There was a time that Stéphane Mordon was threatening his ex.
Moi, j'ai contacté CP George.
And I contacted CP George.
Et nous avons dit que Stephen Mondo peut faire ça. Et ça, l'enquête que nous pouvons faire est un peu sensible.
And informed her that Stephen Modo was doing what I just mentioned, and that the investigation was quite sensitive.
Et nous avons dit pour empêcher Stephen Modo de faire façon empêcher de gagner accès au téléphone.
And also we informed her to prevent Stephen Modo from gaining access to a mobile phone.
Qui peut servir téléphone.
And he was using a mobile phone.
Il peut contacter Iran.
He was in contact with Iran.
Avec son girlfriend.
And his girlfriend.
Et les autres suspects, je peux faire l'enquête là.
And other suspects that we were conducting investigation about.
Et par exemple, dit bonnet, nous pouvons interview Stephen Modo.
And like I said, I told her that early December we would come to investigate, to question Stephen Modo.
Yes. And did she? I'm sure you were informed that Stephen Modo had cases pending before court.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And were there ever any suggestion, rather than going to Montagne Posée to interview Mr. Modo, to have Mr. Bono taken to the CID offices and have the interview that was necessary?
Stephen Modo, plus tard, nous peux faire l'arrangement pour lui venir contre nous.
Stephen Modo later on was brought. We were making arrangements for him to come to us. But during those times, we were not yet ready to interview him.
So you mean that because Stephen Modo was put in, was placed in an isolation cell?
Yes, sir.
From the 5th of December, and 20 days later, you are not even gone to interview Mr. Modo?
Non, sir. Par exemple, je dis au bonnet décembre, nous pouvons interview Stephen Modo. Nous pas te donner date.
No. Like I stated, we stated that early December we would come to interview Stephen, but we did not give a time and date.
So the decision was made just to keep Stephen Modo in a isolation cell for whenever you felt you were there was a need, or you said there was a need whenever you were ready for you to go and interview Mr. Modo?
Ça nous dit pour appeler Stephen Modo dans un téléphone et nous pouvons interviewer. Nous pas te donner une date exacte que nous pouvons interviewer.
We said
nous pas te dire Stephen Modo dans isolation cell.
Prevent Stephen Modo
en accès au téléphone.
From gaining access to a mobile phone.
Stephen Modo. Nous pas te donner une date exacte.
We were going to interview him early December, but we did not give an exact date, nor did we recommend that Stephen Modo be kept there in the isolation all this time. We only asked that he be kept from getting in touch with a mobile phone, and that we were going to interview him early December, but did not give an exact time and date.
But I'm sure you are aware that the testimonies we've had here is that there was that request that was made, and Stefan was taken to an isolation cell because for you to be able to come and interview him. So would I be right in thinking that a date would have been identified? So because he was, and that's what he was told. The CID wanted to interview you.
Oui, nous l'avons interviewé ça.
Yes,
c'est moi nous pas te donner date qui dit telle date nous pouvons interviewer. Nous dit qui nous pouvons venir interview Stephen. Et pareil pour les autres suspects qui sont dans la prison qui ont interview. Ça même non pas moi du bonheur nous vamos nous dit non ça là les monde pour gagner interview qui dans la prison pour gagner questionner. Nous pas nous mais donner date.
Give
dit ça date ça dit monde ça date ça dit monde. Bon par contre si je suis arrivé à cause de nous ti col bonheur décembre. Nous dit pémination son madame. Et ça, mon cas, si je te permets, mon plus tard, mon cas donne, je savais quelque chose. Nous te disons, pour dire menace sa madame, et même sa victime qui nous peut essayer de tirer. Il rend petit était pour dans l'autre endroit. Non, on a savait l'information, mon cas donne, qui peut être fait avec. Et nous te disons, en fait, c'est un téléphone. Pour gagner accès à un téléphone qui peut faire ça avec.
So, we did not say exactly what time and date to keep Stefan in the isolation room because we were going to see him that particular date and time, because we also had other suspects. Like I stated earlier on, early November or late November when we had that meeting, we had already given the list of names of the suspects from prison that we wanted to interview, but did not give the exact date for each of those suspects. For example, suspect number 1 would be such and such date, suspect number 2 such and such date, but we only said that we needed to interview him. I do not know if the issue arose when we informed the CP about the threat that he was issuing to his wife, but also the fact that he had a phone, a mobile phone, and he was getting in touch with the person from Iran that we were trying to move out of Iran to bring back to Seychelles. So he was interfering with that individual as well, so we needed to keep him from getting in touch with the phone, but we did not say to keep him there for such and such date.
So you didn't give the CP an indication that there was an urgency in having an interview with Mr. Mondo?
No.
Okay. All right. Yep. So you can go.
Okay. Mr. Simeon, I feel a little bit concerned, or I cannot explain to myself, yeah, the reason why you responded freely without hesitation and fear, okay, in even showing that there is a necessity to protect Mr. Stephen Modo. And you even talked about his case now, compared to what we just spoke earlier. Why is that?
I said that there are a lot of things to do with Stephen Modo that I can provide afterwards.
Please.
He said that you were not paying attention to me while I was talking.
No.
No?
Reveal anything regarding Stephen Mondo's case?
I said
there was a victim in Iran. He was threatening his wife, and we were conducting investigation, and Stephen was charged and arrested and has a case before the court.
Mr. Simeon, what happened in the court is not in the public domain. You are now on the national television and you are talking freely and openly about Stephen Mondo's problems that you were explaining.
Yes.
I think it is also dangerous, as you were stating previously on other people, that you are actually mentioning his name with Iran's Mr. Bristol.
Okay. So I think the question is, so that we can move. The question is, when he asked the question whether at any time you had a Mr. Bristol named as a suspect in a case that you were investigating, you had difficulties in answering that question.
Right? Yes.
Then when you were asked by Commissioner Vidot whether Stephen Modo was a suspect in a case that you were investigating, you had no problems in confirming yes or no. I think that is the question he's asking, right? And he's saying why is that?
So you can just explain. Stephen Modo concluded by the prosecution. Stephen Modo case.
The case Stephen Modo has been concluded. The file was given to the prosecution, and he was charged before the court. If he was asking this question and he had not yet been charged, then I would not reply to these questions.
So maybe to my knowledge or to my curiosity, Stephen Modo has been charged with this Iranian case that you are talking about.
The case trafficking person, Pakistani.
A human trafficking case, not an Iranian case.
He has been charged?
Yes.
He has received his sentence?
No.
But why are you talking about it?
I am saying that he was charged. I am not talking about the case.
You are telling the population that...
yes.
Anyway.
But this was put on media also, that he was charged by the police.
Okay. Earlier, you were talking about... You said that the difficulties that you and the police were facing in the service, you were blaming the competence of police officers.
Non, pas jamais blâmer les officiers de la police.
What did you say about the competence
police
of our
officers?
Police officers?
Pas jamais dis autres n'a pas l'incompétence.
I never said they were incompetent.
Nous dis pour dire nous tu peux gagner difficulté le côté manpower.
I said that we were having difficulties with regards to manpower.
Training pas code nous. Oui, nous besoin de training, mais c'est pas code nous qui demande training. Non.
Training, yes, we need training, but not in our unit. I did not say in our unit.
Okay, so if things were not happening, yeah, results were not being provided, was because there were so many difficulties related to the police force not being able to provide people to carry out jobs.
No, but it's not nécessairement ça.
It's not necessarily
that. La police, CID level, avec CID priorité.
Oui.
Nous avons un petit groupe qui détermine pour faire nos ouvrages. Même si moi je connais, moi je détermine. Et moi je manque training, mais je fais donne tout.
At the CID priority we have.
Tu gagnes l'expérience, quelque chose qui sont en je fais du travail plus bien qu'un bon pays.
A small group of individuals that are working there, the officers are quite dedicated.
Et moi vous en dire les officiers CID qui travaillent au station level et que priorité qui sont pas incompétents.
And they even work twice as much as the other officers in other department. I would never say that an officer that works at the CID priority is incompetent. For me to say that would be to...
Juste pour amener résultat. Il y en a nous officiers qui abandonnent notre famille, restent station.
Because there are some of these officers that work 24/7 and officers that abandon their family just for them to be able to work at the station. So for me to say that would be to bring them down to their level.
Just one thing. Mr. Simeo, I do understand that you want to say that these officers give a lot, and sometimes we know that the police work is difficult, but to say that you cannot say that you cannot talk about incompetency of officers. I think you can, because I can tell you, I sit in court every day. I see some officers are incompetent. You must have noticed that yourself.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Most feel.
I also failed in certain aspects of my work, and then I learn again.
So there is a need for more training, improvement.
Yes. Yeah, a lot.
So,
yes.
So everyone has certain limits, certain incompetencies. So it's not something that you cannot talk about. I see it every day with police officers. Basic, they don't know.
I understand, sir.
I think you answered my question.
Okay. I have the answer to this, because I want to ask something.
No, you go ahead.
Okay. And maybe you might have answered already some of these things, but I need to make sure that I heard you correctly. So you are a senior police officer.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So you are competent to answer this question. At what point do you arrest someone or a suspect? At what point do you arrest?
It will depend on l'enquête qu'on peut faire.
It will depend on the investigation that you are doing.
Yeah, but
l'explication si il arrive une offense devant vous.
By way of explanation, if there's an offense that is committed in front of you, you can arrest that person immediately.
Okay. Et si vous pouvez faire, si tu as un high profile case, vous avez besoin d'établir l'évidence avant, qu'il y ait l'évidence pour arrêter un monde.
With regards to high profile cases, you will need to establish your evidence. There needs to be evidence first before you can arrest someone.
Okay. Okay. So there has to be evidence.
Yes.
So when you see a person committing a crime, you have seen in that, you have seen. So you have evidence. You have some kind of evidence.
Some kind of.
Maybe not all the evidence, but
Yes.
some kind of evidence. Is it also, because now let's move to high-profile, sensitive, high-priority crimes. Is it also possible that you can see that, or you can have evidence that someone has actually committed the crime, but you delay their arrest because you want to gather more evidence? Is that?
Yes.
Can you talk to us more about those type of cases?
Elle est aucun case de mon idée tel dit mon suspect. Monsieur Malé ou amass statement avec witness, ou gagne l'évidence sorti côté NCRB, ou gagne ban les autres l'évidence l'information qui vont analyser.
Sometimes people will tell you that this is a suspect, and then after gathering statements from witnesses and evidence from SSNCRB, you find that new evidence comes to light.
Et avant d'arrêter, il y a un certain bout dans la loi qui a montré ça élément d'offense.
And before you arrest someone,
mais c'est moi s'il n'a pas élément d'offense.
there needs to be certain parts of the law that you have to consider about the elements of the offense. So there needs to be certain of these elements of the offense.
Et pour une situation, si on n'a pas assez d'évidence, c'est le bout de l'évidence qui reste, il y a arrestation, il y a interview.
And there are certain situations whereby the only evidence that you can get is the arrestation and the interview of that suspect.
I think you have educated me enough. And I agree with you. I think that makes sense. Now, what do you normally do when... So, interfering with investigations is a crime, right, on its own?
Oui, sir.
Yes.
So what do you normally do when you see that a suspect in a high profile sensitive case where you are still gathering evidence, when you see that this suspect is interfering with your evidence, what do you do?
Ça y est l'offense sérieux.
It's a serious offense.
Si on a l'évidence, ça dit mon il gagne arrêté, gagne questionné.
You have evidence that person needs to get arrested and questioned.
Et à cause il peut investiguer l'offense.
Because it's impeding you from investigating an offense.
Et il est capable de jeopardize aussi l'intégrité à l'évidence qu'on peut faire.
And that can jeopardize the integrity of the evidence you are gathering.
Yeah. It can obstruct justice
Yes.
completely. So one option is to quickly move in and arrest that person.
Yes.
Right. Is there any other option that you have under the law in your experience as a police officer? Are there circumstances where someone is... Let me clarify the question. Are there circumstances where a suspect is interfering with evidence? You have established that they are interfering with evidence, but you still don't arrest them.
Il y en a cas qui arrivent, oui.
There are certain cases that can happen, yes.
Yeah. Like what?
Il peut dépendre. Si vous pouvez me donner l'exemple, nous pouvons faire l'enquête. Nous avons des gens qui nous connaissent. Ils peuvent faire l'interférence dans l'enquête. Nous ne pouvons pas connaître côté était, nous ne pouvons pas.
By way of an example, if we are conducting an investigation and there is someone that we know is interfering with the investigation but cannot locate that person.
Or where you cannot locate the person who is interfering with the evidence.
Après ça, si moi ajoute, il y a l'information gagnée. Je donne l'exemple un simple question un téléphone.
If I am to add, there are certain information that you can gather. To give an example, a mobile phone.
Yeah.
Mon cas dit ça mobile ou qui peut servir, mais c'est moi il peut enregistrer en bas.
I can say it's a mobile phone that you are using but not registered under your name.
Yeah. So my identity is secret.
Yeah.
You don't know it.
So nous on a l'information où, mais c'est moi nous n'a pas assez d'évidence pour venir arrêter.
But so we have the information that it's you, but not enough evidence to bring.
To pin me down.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you don't have enough evidence to pin me down. Okay. Now, I mean, with that framework or that understanding that you gave us, I'm just trying to reconcile that with the way you dealt with the case of Stephen Modo. Because you have said he was interfering with the
Yes.
evidence on a very sensitive case that you were
Yes.
dealing with. Why did you not arrest him?
Par exemple, à ce moment, nous avons permis l'information.
Like
Et
I,
l'évidence que nous avons, c'est plus difficile pour nous arrêter Stephen Modo.
like I said, at that moment we were still gathering information, and from the evidence that we had gathered, it would have been difficult for us to arrest Stephen Modo.
Et l'autre quelque chose qui m'a ajouté.
Something else I can add?
Nous
But
avons
maybe before you add something else, I don't quite think that is what you said earlier. And it's okay if we misunderstood you.
Later.
But
Just finish. I need 5.
it's 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like no.
Just
Okay. What? Maybe I might have misunderstood you, but so I need you to clarify for me, because my understanding is you knew that, number one, there was someone interfering with the evidence you were gathering concerning a suspect who was in a foreign country, or someone who had been trafficked to a foreign country, and there's someone here in Seychelles who was interfering with the evidence we were gathering, and you established that that person is Stephen Modo in your
Yes.
investigation. So you knew that it was him, right? And you knew he was interfering with evidence. And according to your earlier explanation, you said in such cases where you know that this person is interfering with evidence on this crime that we are investigating, you move in to arrest that person. That is
Yes.
the correct thing to do. So if I understood you correctly, then I think you departed from that procedure when
No.
dealing with, because
But
you
moi,
didn't
je-
arrest him.
ici Constance case. Nous avons fait ça step pour dire que CP George pour empêcher de gagner accès à un téléphone.
Like I said, it's the circumstances of the case. We did the step to tell CP George to prevent him from gaining access to a mobile phone.
Et nous allons être nos priorités. Il participe, il participe.
And at
Et
that
c'est pour
time,
sécuriser ça dit mon qui
our priority
pour nous
was
faire
not
bouger. Et ça c'est une priorité à ce moment.
the suspect, was
Sa
but
victime c'est plus important
to
qui
secure
Stephen Modo.
the victim who was moving
I
from Iran.
hear you, and I'm trying to prevent you from going in another direction. Just want to focus. So you were saying, yeah, Stephen Modo was in prison,
Mm.
but there's nothing under the law that prevents you from arresting this person and properly place this person in detention in order to prevent this person from continuing to interfere with your investigations. That's what I want to understand, why that didn't happen. Because the reason why you arrest is first to prevent this person from continuing with the crime, but in this case, arresting and placing this person in detention, including isolation, in an isolated detention, prevents this person from continuing to interfere with evidence. So why did that not
Par
happen?
exemple, aussi channel of trafficking in person contre Stephen Modo.
Like I said, there was an offense of trafficking in person against Stephen Modo,
Et Stephen Modo tu peux interférer dans l'enquête.
and he was interfering in the investigation.
Nous pas pour arrêter Stephen Modo 2 fois pour même case.
You cannot arrest him twice for the
Nous
same
capable
case.
interview lui 2-3 fois pour même case.
We can interview him a
Justement,
couple
à
of
ce moment
times
nous
for
pas
the
encore
same
parler
case.
pour arrêter.
But at that moment, we were not yet ready
Et
to
nous
arrest him.
prévention que nous tu fait il pour dire CP George après s'il gagne accès à un téléphone.
And the preventive measures that we took was to ask CP George to
Et
prevent him from gaining
les
access
Stephen
to a
Modo
phone.
tu gagne arrêté, tu gagne mener le 101. Ça m'a une question tu gagne expliquer
When he was arrested and brought on a one-on-one application, these
comme
things were
quoi tu
explained,
peux interférer et la façon que tu peux interférer.
that he was
Et pour
interfering and the
montrer-
way he was interfering.
Simon ka répondre aux questions.
If that answered your
Okay.
question.
We'll take a break soon. Just this one, then we can take a break. I hear you. And I think you are really painting a clear picture of your reasoning at the time. But what I am questioning is the appropriateness of this procedure you followed, because you basically instructed the Commissioner of Prisons to place a suspect in detention.
No.
Well, when someone is removed from their place of residence, which is their cell, because they stay in a cell with facilities, right? When you instruct a person to be removed from their place of residence and be placed elsewhere in the same geographical location where they are alone, they sleep on a hard surface, because I've seen the isolation cell. It's not a place where a person can stay every day, even a prisoner. They can't stay there every day without a cause. So this person was detained, was placed in detention, right? And I'm not saying suspects should never be placed in detention, right? But there are procedures to be followed, and those procedures under the law are that they have to be arrested. But in this case, there was no arrest. There was just a whisper between you and the CP, and someone was placed under in isolation without.
Décision pour mettre Stephen Morde dans isolation, il pas sorti contre moi. Nous TJ CP, this appelle de gagner accès au téléphone et nous pouvons venir interview.
The decision to place.
Sa décision pour les gars ils mettaient dans isolation. Pas moi qui donne.
To place Stephen in isolation was not.
Si on va prendre un petit cas dans l'autre option, mais les bois de rose. Taken
by me, I only asked the CP that he be prevented from gaining access to a phone. Could have placed him somewhere else. Perseverance was, and there were instances in the past whereby we had asked that somebody else be put someplace else.
Thank you for clarifying that, because I didn't want to say that for you. I wanted it to come from you that apart from detaining a suspect in such a place that is called an isolation cell, which is not a normal cell, it's a hard cell, the suspect could have been placed elsewhere. To live in conditions that still respect their dignity and so forth. And then I think you have clarified something that maybe we might want to pursue after the break on who actually made the decision to place the suspect in detention. You say it's not your decision. You just asked that we can't arrest this person at this point, but we want them to be placed in a place where they don't have access to a phone.
Yes.
Right. We have to take a break. So let's take a 5-minute break, and then we can go on. But thank you for that clarification.